love working with Michelle.
I feel buoyant and alive, Michelle. It's amazing. I don't feel as though I've got to gather in all that negative crap. It's like a different planet. It opens up possibilities.
I was suffering from grief and I could not make anything right with my business. But since the first session with Michelle, I had a clarity that I could never explain. All of a sudden, my brain was so clear that I could just do the right thing without even thinking. And whatever was ailing in my body just disappeared. It was really amazing. It was fantastic.
So almost 10 years, I was not able to solve. In a minute, I was able to breathe with peace.
I don't sleep very well. For the first time in 45 years, I slept for 10 and a half hours. I woke up like a new man. I don't know if she had anything to do with it, but no one else was sprinkling me. This woman says she's got a gift, and I think she may.
It has changed my mindset.
Michelle has activated my methodology in dealing with various situations. I have tools to deal with these things, and the sparkle adds even more.
Every time after our session, something good always happens.
It's phenomenal. With your help, I won't be able to step out of that cloud. Not a nice feeling.
I have had pain disappear.
There is meaning to getting up every day. I guess you could say she's recharged the batteries.
So that feels wonderful. Thank you.
Clearly, I want to say thank you.
Get Sparkled by Michelle. She will turn your world into a magical world.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. It's really amazing. It's not an easy thing that a person who sustained a heavy dance of grief can just be how do you call it? Like there's a wand, a magic wand that would just, you just do it and then it would go away. No.
It will help you find answers.
Hi there, this is Michelle Holong. I'm so happy to have you all here tonight. We're now in the 26th episode of the Sparkle Experience Show, and I have here tonight with me Jade Gall, my co-host, and Ron Levinson, special contributor. And tonight I have a special presentation because it's something that I have in my book Sparkle and Shine, and it's something that I don't think people think very much about. And that is that, you know, we have the ISO 9001 for our business. It's a system, a framework where we can deliver quality and we can get everything working and optimized in our businesses. But what we don't think about is there a system that we can put in place at home for our personal life, for being able to balance our work and life and make our home, our relation, everything, how does that all come together? And so this is what this episode is about, and I hope you will, if nothing else, it will get you thinking of how you can organize your life in, you know, and balance everything and get things working and set things up differently, or maybe just tweak it here and there. So everything becomes more in flow around you, within you, and all around. Because the other thing that's very, very important in this whole thing is you. I talk about being the CEO of you, taking that control, able to make yourself where you stand in your power, where nothing phases you, where you just know what you have to do because you're so grounded in who you are and what you have to do. So on the screen there, they can see that, right, Jade?
Let's see. I was just showing it.
Okay. So what the diagram is about is, I don't know if it will show here. I have it here. Ah, yeah, that might. Yeah. So what you have on this side is the ISO stuff. And then what you have on this side is the work, home, life balance. And the way I like to think about it is at the top, we are talking about life balance. We have being CEO of ourselves, and then we have planning, time management, all the things we have to do to get our life working properly. And below that, on the two sides, are how you go about doing that. And I don't need to show you the diagram, but it's an idea to give you the concept that there is a framework within which we can manage our lives. So what I think about is, if we're being, looking at who we are, the things that are important are: one, how do we make sure that what we set out to do is planned out? Do we have checks and balances? Like in the workplace, we have the procedures, we have the SOPs, those kinds of things. But in our personal lives, what are the things we can do to set it out? And what I like you to think about is recipes. So recipes are step by step. In our life at home, we have things that we are always putting in order. We have to get the kids to school. We have to get ourselves ready for the next day. We may have travel and vacation plans coming up. So one of the things I did many, many years ago is I came up with and I just want to see if Jade can put that up, with a travel checklist.
Yep,
Now,
I can have that right here.
you can have that up there. So what I want to do is to have you think about what can you do to set out as a checklist in your life that could bring more simplicity into things you're planning, because we already have it set out, right? So in this checklist, and this is going to be put into, we'll put it in the chat, right, Jade?
If you want me to put the file in
Yeah.
chat, I can.
So anybody who wants to grab it can grab it. It's a very comprehensive checklist on travel. So it covers off the things of the visas, the passport, the things you do when you're preparing to leave the home, what you do to secure your home, all of these nice things. It talks about medication, your first aid kit. It goes into your clothes, into your computer, into your widgets, into your electronics. The whole idea here is, when we think about what we have in our homes, what are the things that we would like to have, because it's part of our system at home, it's a part of how we operate, how we get our plans together, how we schedule things out, garbage day, this and that. So this is a concept I want to just get you started thinking about. And if you join the membership, we have a membership that we started called R.E.A.L member community, and if you register for the show and then you subscribe to the channel, and you can show that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, then that gets you some exclusive offers in that membership, and it also gets you to discuss these kinds of things in there. And as well, I also have a program where I go into that in more detail. Anyways, one of the things we think about in terms of the home is we have the scheduling, then we have the time, the prioritization, all the things we have to fit in, plus the work stuff. What we also have is the household, our secure haven, the place that we look for shelter, for sustenance, for just relaxing and getting into our Zen space. And so in this home space, what do we do to actually make it safe? How do we lock the doors at night, but what do we do to actually make this space safe? And so one of the things I asked Ron told me he's been doing research for years now, lots of research, and he has gathered some statistics on what it is that's in this environment that we may not know, and many don't, some do. So I wonder if we can bring Ron up to share with us these stats, right?
Yeah, hi there. Well, as she mentioned, your home, I feel, is your sanctuary. Most people find that the safe place. Well, it's contrary, and I'm in the health business. I just want to read some statistics that most people don't know about that I've learned. But through technology, we all know technology, what's happened in the last several years with the increase of just AI technology, how it's just leaped forward. They say every year it almost doubles in what it can do. Well, technology has been amazing. Well, the actual reverse has happened in the health industry. because through technology today is actually ruining people's health in a lot of ways. But these are statistics that I thought were absolutely something that most people don't know about. I didn't, but I'm going to just kind of read it. This is from a scientific article. It is well known that a child raised in neglect or extreme adversity carries lifelong risk of chronic illnesses and mental health struggles. Social adversity can result in physical changes in brain development and other organs that can permanently change the trajectory of a child's development and can injure a child for life. By EPA, the worst air quality is in your home. Remember that. What is only becoming known is that a rising tide of man-made chemicals and other changes to our environment are creating a higher impact on lifelong illnesses and mental health by threatening the cellular safety. Children with these are the staggering numbers. Children with chronic illnesses grow up to be adults with chronic illnesses. In the past 40 years, the fraction of children living with chronic illness in the United States has risen from 5 to 10% in the 80s to 40% today.
Wow,
40%,
that's astounding, Ron.
40% today. Rising teen depression, suicidal and anxiety and behavior mental health disorders add another 10 to 20%. So that's 50% of teens struggle with chronic illnesses today. 60% of adults under 65 and 90% of adults over 65 live with chronic illnesses, and numbers that have doubled since the 1980s and continue to grow every year. These are really, I mean, it's staggering. Being I'm in the health industry and what I do, I see so many things happen. Chronic health disorders have increased 200 times since 1980. 40% of children born in the U.S. today and 60% of adults under 65 live with at least one chronic illness. These are staggering statistics.
They are. So what you're saying is these chronic diseases, science is showing that a lot of that is due to these the pollutants and the toxins that we're getting in our home, right?
Man-made chemicals, which is your whole home, basically.
Because the other thing is that you've also pointed out before is that in the home, there's a concentration of this because outside we have the fresh air, so it's not as prevalent outside. But in the home, we have cleaning fluids, we have all sorts of things that are really, even the gas stove.
There's little nuances, like people that burn candles. Candles are very toxic. Most people, things I learned, well, I didn't know, most people don't know what candle wax is made of. I didn't know either. It's the sludge at the bottom of petroleum that they dye and get they dye it white, and then they put a wick in it, and then you're burning these chemicals, and there are a lot of heavy metals in those chemicals. That's what you're breathing in. They say 1 out of 8 children develop asthma just from a gas stove, gas range in your house.
So really, when we think about the system at home, it is when I think about that, I'm thinking, okay, so how do we make our home safe? And that is why I'm so excited about the UV cold oxygen plasma device that you're bringing to the table here, Ron, because if we don't have health, we really have no way to go about our daily life with any kind of vitality in a sense, because if we're affected by these things or we get these afflictions when we get older, because you're saying that stat of how many over when you're over 65, that there's a 90% that you're going to have chronic illness,
right?
And it's because of all these things. I mean,
there's so many little things that people don't realize, like fragrances, your perfumes and your room sprays. If you could smell it, whether it be a good smell or a bad smell, it's chemicals, and that's why I push the cold plasma that eliminates everything. Now, I had Pam join us. Now, Pam met me about 3 months ago. She had a radon issue, so this took care of her radon issue. But Pam was telling me about her mom, who's 85 years old, that has severe COPD. Well, I kind of forced Pam. I said, you need this for your mom. Pam, tell about your mother, please.
Okay, so my mom has kind of middle stage dementia. But she ended up in the hospital a few months ago, and she had a COPD event, serious, and she almost passed away. So when she healed up, she was in the hospital for 2 weeks. We brought her back to her adult care foster home, and I was talking to Ron about it. I didn't even think about this, but we got a unit, a cold plasma unit for her room where she lives. She has not had to have one breathing treatment since we put it in the house.
And she used to get how many a day, every day?
At least two, at least two.
And this has been now, what, about a month and a half she's used it?
Yeah, and nothing.
And not one breathing treatment. I find that pretty amazing. And these are people that I've had so many testimonials with people with pulmonary fibrosis that can now breathe. That's hardening of the lungs. People that I literally changed their life. It changed my life. Okay, so I've changed a lot of people's lives. The world is, they call a chemisphere today, and it all is from your home. 90% of the diseases are coming from within the home. And Michelle, you made a comment. We had a conversation the other day, and you told me that you've known about how this was for years, about how all these toxins were affecting everybody, but there was no solution.
That's so true, because that's a thing, right? I knew about VOCs before, volatile organic compounds. I knew about the formaldehyde, the benzene. I mean, I got the spider plant, I got the peace lily, I got the, the English ivy, all the things that, they were known to take these chemicals out of the air. I knew about the mold and, the pollutants, other pollutants, but I had no way to actually do anything about it. So I thought, well, I know about it, but what am I going to do?
If you go online and they tell you how to rid it, if you read about how to eliminate VOCs, get rid of all the furniture,
right.
carpeting,
You
can't do it. It's
precisely. But now with this little unit, I don't even have to worry. If I want to help someone who I know has really bad allergies, I don't have to try and figure out what is causing it so much. I can say, put one of these units in your home and see what you notice. If you don't notice anything, or you don't notice any differences, I'd be really surprised.
It takes time, like we
Yeah, it
discussed.
takes time, but if you keep it a month or 2 months, and you're having it in your home, and you don't notice something slightly, like I would be really surprised, because I've used it a little now myself. And I know the difference it made on my mattress, as simple as that sounds.
Well, plus,
Sterilizes the home, and the only thing it doesn't really help so much is relationships, which is part of the thing I say. We need to have for the
It does.
whole.
It makes your mate stop snoring. It can do that too. I've had
Okay, but anyway, let me go back to the whole thing of this episode, right? Is the whole being CEO of yourself. So part of that equation is also your relationships with your loved ones, with your neighbors, with your people around you. And what I like to talk about is this whole diagram I had of system. There is part of it that we need to take time out of our day to look at our relationships as part of the system, just like we do at work in the ISO framework. We look at training, we look at authorities and responsibilities. Well, on the home front, we want to look at boundaries. What are the boundaries we're setting with all our relatives, with our family? What do you have any, or is everybody just coming to you and you do everything they say, which we're good at as moms, right? We do everything everybody else does, and we don't look after ourselves. So, but with this whole thing on again, it's taking a look at the big picture of the home as your haven, as your retreat, and also how do you structure your life and build it in. And bottom line is, health is fundamental, and that's why I like to bring Ron on the show because we can touch on different topics around the health issues that, if you didn't know it and you discover it now, how can that help you and help other people who you care about who may not be aware of this technology? And so, Ron, not meaning to cut you off, you said it helps relationships. Would you care sharing?
Well, I've had numerous people that they bought a unit not really having what I would call any health issues, but they wanted the preventative part of it. But the first thing they say is, I slept better and my husband or my wife quit snoring, because it
Oh,
clears your
Okay,
nasal
it's
passage,
true.
because it clears up your nasal passage and stuff, so you don't wake up stuffy and things like that.
so the
But
other part it does, if it clears up your nasal passages, then that would mean that you are getting better oxygen to your brain, and therefore you might be thinking clearer, and therefore you could be more productive at work.
That's been
Or at
that's been
home.
proven. They've actually, I have articles talking about how the VOC's toxins and carcinogenics are all the same thing, but they're talking about how the body's overloaded and it cuts down on productivity. Well, by having the cold plasma, it clears up all that type of the fogginess you would have in your head, because you don't have that toxins penetrating you like you would normally have. And there again, like anything else, it takes time, but the one thing that the whole country doesn't realize, one of the most undiagnosed issues for mental health and just health in general, is the mold issue, because most all homes have mold. People just don't know about it, okay, because it can't see it. And it doesn't have to be black mold. There's over 200 species of mold. And there again, this is science talking, not me. This is creating mental illnesses. It's creating schizophrenia in people. There's numerous articles I'm willing to pass on to people, or we could post, Michelle, under different categories. But mold is the number one thing in your home that people aren't even paying attention to, because they don't know about it. They can't see it. And literally, without our educating them, Michelle, thanks to you, they'll never get rid of it. Now, this eliminates all mold. It will never let mold grow, period. But if you
Well,
have mold, whatever's in the air, it's gone.
well, I
Okay.
actually helped someone find the mold a number of years ago, and I was talking to him one day, and I was saying, "How are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm okay, but I'm not feeling good." And I kind of asked, I said, "Well, when do you don't, what is happening?" He says, "Well, I get these headaches and I'm nauseous and dizzy." And I said, "Well, when does it happen?" He says, "Well, wait, it happens when I come home."
Yep.
And I said, "Wait, it doesn't happen in the day when you're out?" He says, "No." I said, "Wait a second, you may want to check for mold." I told him right away, I said, "You may want to check your home." And you know what? He found a big problem with mold in his house. And it probably saved his family a whole pile of grief, because it can actually debilitate. It actually, if you get a lot of mold in your house, it could actually mean bring demolishing the home and rebuilding it, because the mold, if it gets so bad, it can make people where they can't even think. They
Well,
can't move.
that's why they say
Some
it's the
really
number
bad
one
molds there.
undiagnosed. It's the number one undiagnosed health issue in the country is the mold issue,
Yeah.
because it's in your attic. It's everywhere where you can't see it.
It's
That's
where you don't know you had a leak.
right. Right. You
And
know,
it's having a field day because maybe it's a slow drip. You didn't know about it.
well,
You know,
but you just get condensation in your walls, just moisture in your attic. Any place that has moisture eventually gets mold. It's just the fact of life, And then you gotta understand, people work, and there's different acts, aspects of the toxins in their work environment
right.
too,
Yeah.
So
But I really, I'd like to ask, is there anyone who has a question about the system aspect of looking at the home as a system? Is that an interesting point of view, or is it blasé? Any comments from anyone? Jade?
everybody's on mute.
Yeah, they can come off if they want.
Oh,
Oh, hi, Dan.
Yeah,
Hi.
go ahead.
Well, my comment would be that it would be really I think very useful if Ron had a mini checklist of major categories that you might want to double check or eliminate in your home, such as fragrances or, but you know, check what are natural, what is artificial, you know, like have a top 10 list, for instance, as part of our process of evaluating.
But there's the problem is you can't do that because there's literally hundreds that's what I preach. There's hundreds of toxins in your home. They call it when they say VOCs, it's volatile organic compounds. It's like when you come home, you're drinking a cocktail of chemicals. No two homes have the same cocktail.
Yeah, so
okay?
I would say, what are your top 10 categories, for instance? So a person has a starting point.
Right.
Your home.
Just a starting
your
point.
It's the whole. That's right.
Oh, okay.
That's why we sell this process of having a cold plasma generator in your home eliminates every issue that we're discussing. It eliminates all toxins, eliminates all mold, eliminates all odors, eliminates all bacteria, eliminates all anything that can literally make you sick. This process is neutralizing, and it's not affecting you. It's cleansing your nasal passage, your lungs. So it's just like she knows my history. I'm pushing 79 years old. I've had chronic kidney disease. Well, my kidney function came back. They don't know why, because it shouldn't, but it came back 20% from 30% to almost 50%. Now, I passed on literature to Michelle talking about same concept. When you go to the hospital and they put an oxygen mask on you to get that pure oxygen in your bloodstream, that's what's happening when you're breathing this cold oxygen plasma. It's going into your nasal passage and getting into your bloodstream. And scientists proven how it boosts your immune system, how it can reduce cognitive issues, how it's going to eliminate all kinds of skin issues. You have healing issues. It's Diane, I know you probably hasn't joined us before, but once you see everything that's affiliated with it can do, it really takes care of almost any issue that you can even think of, literally. Because
it's amazing, yeah.
That's what cold plasma, it's the future of medicine. There's so many
Pam had a question.
Yep, go ahead, Pam. Pam Heath?
Yes, I was going to jump in. I'm on the same page as Diane. I'm thinking that the conversation to get the devices seems very important, but are there other things you should be on the lookout for? Like you mentioned candles and making sure you get candles that aren't, making it worse for you to breathe. There has to be some kind of...
There isn't, though. The problem is, see that couch behind you? See every piece of furniture? I don't know if you got a...
Well, this is a background. This isn't really my house.
The problem in our society today is every product in your home is called off-gassing. Every product in your home, including your makeups, all your cleaning supplies, anything that even to say organic doesn't mean it's non-toxic. It off-gasses into the air. This is what you're breathing in. There's no way to rid of it, literally, other than what this process can do. It's not an air purifier, okay? Number one, particulate matter is what's creating pretty much all of the illnesses in the world. Particulate matter is all the small dust particles that soak up all these toxins. They're outside, then they come inside. So they're like a miniature sponge, and then you're breathing them in your lungs, okay? Well, when you have a cold plasma unit in your home, number one, it takes all the dust out of the air. So besides not having any dust in your air anymore, it kills anything that was in that dust to begin with, okay? But there's no way to control this is what I learned, and this is why I came out of retirement to do what I'm doing. There's literally nothing else on the planet that I've showed Michelle. She wouldn't be having me sit on this and she sold them and she sees them and she's using them. So this is really the answer, okay? And I can, Pam, if you want to send me your email address, I'll forward you all kinds of scientific information to back up what I'm telling you. And the bad thing about it is in our ages, the older you get, the worse it gets, because it's the young kids and the older people like ourselves that our lungs are more compromised and later in life. So It's just like I've had numerous people that are older people. Um, the girl that used to work with me, her father was dying. He was in hospice, going home to die. We put one in his room. Within 2 to 3 days, he was fine. It's my life. Okay, so I've changed a lot of people's lives. The world is, they call a chemisphere today, and it all is from your home. 90% of the diseases are coming from within the home. And Michelle, you made a comment. We had a conversation the other day, and you told me that you've known about how this was for years, about how all these toxins were affecting everybody, but there was no solution.
That's so true, because that's a thing, right? I knew about VOCs before.
It kept people from dying, so we know what the capabilities are. Okay, so that's why when people use them, they have like Pam. And Pam, I didn't know Pam from Adam. And look what it's done for her mom. I was severe when I talk about my allergies and my health issues. Believe me, I'm lucky to be here today. Trust me. And I was in the most toxic industry in the world that gave me the kidney disease. I worked in the furniture business. I owned furniture stores for 35 years. Most toxic place on the planet. I also was a car dealer. That new car smell is all chemicals. There's articles now talking about how cars are creating cancer in people. All the plastics and stuff they're using. I just did a campaign towards preschools. Preschools are a petri dish for disease. Literally.
Yes, it is. Yep. Oh, yes, I can speak from firsthand experience.
So there's just so many aspects of why you need this product. It's the future. And it's not new technology. This company that I represent, that I'm with, been around over 30 years. And people ask me all the time, if it's so great, how come people don't know about it? Well, you can't explain it on a box, number one. It takes someone like myself or someone that's been involved in it to really educate people on what it can do for you, okay? Because it's been used in industry for food preservation. In fact, I can make a loaf of bread last for months just by holding the bag up to the machine and let the plasma get in there and seal it back up. So it's used for that. They use it for sterilizing computer chips before they coat it with gold. Let me just say that cold plasma sterilization is the fastest, safest, strongest form of sterilization known to man, literally. So
yeah, it's pretty incredible from what I've seen, and so that's why I feel that every home, every business should have it. If that were the case, people would be healthier and also more at ease with knowing that everything is protected around your health. So it is for me part of now the framework to make sure that at home and even in your office space, at your work, you can actually get the smaller unit that you use in the car and plug it in at work. If you have the adapter, you get the adapter for it. And so everything around your being CEO of you is about what can you do to be at your optimum performance. If you can manage your air that you breathe, that supports the health and well-being of your whole self. And then you look after your relationships. You make sure you have the checklists, the processes, the scheduling, the planning of where you're going in your day. But most importantly, knowing what it is that drives you. What's your number one purpose in life? What is your passion? What fulfills you? What is your dream, and what do you stand for? What are your values? Is what you're doing in your work aligned with your values? And if you don't like what you do for work, is there a way you can make it more pleasurable? Because one of the things that is really important if you want to have flow in your life, so you feel that balance, so that work-life balance, and you don't get into this, oh, I hate going to work, or oh, it's only hump day kind of scenario. If you can get to what is it in my work that I see as being aligned with what my values are, then once you get there, then your positivity, what I like to call is your positivity quotient, will go up. Because if you can see how that ties into what drives you, makes you happy, if you can see, if, for example, you like to help other people, maybe you are, you are washing dishes at a restaurant, but you can think, when if I wash the dishes properly, then people who eat the food from my plates are going to enjoy their food more because it's going to be clean, it's going to, and you think of it that way instead of just I'm washing dishes and it's such a chore and I hate washing dishes, then it just helps you to be more buoyant and look for the opportunity rather than not liking what you're doing. So everything we do, if we know what our big vision is, we know what our purpose is, what our values, and we can feel and see how we're positioning things. Make sure we have the checklist to not miss things that are important, like getting to the airport and realizing you left the passport on the desk, right? Those kinds of things. I mean, that has happened almost. Or actually, it did happen to my son-in-law. He forgot something and we had to hightail it back home to get it, and he almost missed a plane, right? But if you can have the checklist, that those kinds of things in place for your personal life, that repeats. You have those things in place so that you have at least even in your mental mind what all the things are that you need to bring when you're traveling or going camping. Or so all those, that checklist that we're putting in the chat, is it in there yet, Jay?
It is in there.
Okay, so that checklist, if you want the Excel spreadsheet one, you can email me. I can send that to you, but you can customize it according to the type of trip you're making. So these things, when you set this up as a way of living, of shoring up your schedule so that you're not having to remember all the little details, and you can then free your mind up to be more focused on the work you have at hand. And the key thing, again, if I go back to it, is if you can keep your air clean and sterile, you can get rid of the toxins. In Toronto, I've been hearing about monkeypox this, and it's here, and there's another thing that's happening. I forget what they called it, but there's something else that was spread.
There's several things going
Several
on
things
right
going
now.
on right now. If you
States,
have
yeah.
this in your home, or you drive with it in your car and you take it and you put in your workplace at work, chances that you're going to be afflicted with any of these things will be a whole lot less than if you didn't have it in your space. So, relationships, again, all of these things I cover in my 12-month program. I go through all the things in my book, and this is one of them. Just a small smidgen of it, but I go into it in more detail to actually get into the depth of it with customized to who shows up in the program. And so, hopefully that has been useful. Yes, no, as a different perspective on systems and work. And
Yep, very useful.
Is that different?
I'm retired. I have no checklist.
You don't need a checklist? Sure, you need a checklist.
It is. First one is wake up in the morning. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I should have used
I
actually should have used my travel checklist myself, because I got here and I realized I didn't have my waist belt. So I have this big handbag. I don't have my small waist, it's my favorite. It carries everything close to my belt, and and I realized, oh, I forgot that. How did I? Well, I didn't use my checklist. Right?
So the one thing I would like to mention for Pam especially, you asked me about the number one thing that could be affecting your health in your home, Pam. The number one health hazard in your home is your mattress. 99% of the people don't know that. A mattress builds up so much bacteria that it's crazy. Most people don't understand when they go to bed every night what they're breathing in, because by law, all mattresses, I used to own mattress stores, so by law, every mattress has a lot of flame retardant chemicals in them and stain resistant chemicals in all the fabrics. You bury your face in those every single night, and your pillows. So most people don't understand what the dust mite issue is. Dust mite is the #1 cause of asthma in the world, and everybody has it. No one walks the face of the earth that has a mattress that doesn't have a dust mite issue. And what happens with dust mites, they live 90 to 120 days, but they lay an egg a day, but they defecate in your bed 20 times a day. It's their fecal protein and their dead decaying bodies that creates skin conditions, ear conditions, eyes conditions. That's why all the children get the earaches and the little issues, eczema. And what happens over your lifetime as sleeping in your mattress, you sweat 26 gallons a year. There's so much bacteria in your mattresses, it's crazy. They say you shouldn't keep a mattress over 7 years. And it gets worse in time because when you go to bed every night, your body heats it up, then you're breathing it in. Same in your pillows. So that's why I tell people when they get a unit from me, leave your beds unmade, vacuum your beds with the best you can to get the dust out of it, and let the cold plasma will sterilize it. Keep in mind, cold plasma sterilizes everything in your atmosphere. It goes with airflow. It's not an air purifier. It's sterilizing everything. Anything you touch is sterile.
So, Ron, I have a question. So you said they say you shouldn't keep your mattresses over 7 years, but now when you have a cold UV, that's the cold oxygen plasma unit,
Jade,
can you
someone's
extend that?
shuffling. Jade,
Sorry about
shuffling. Someone's shuffling something that's real loud.
Yeah, so can that actually extend your usability of your mattress then?
Yeah, it really can because you're eliminating those toxins by leaving your bed unmade. The same thing with your closets. There again, I'm talking about what science has proven now. 25% of the world population is being affected by textiles, all textiles, your clothing, your carpeting, your fabrics. There's dyes that go in to make all those pretty flowers you have on your dresses and the patterns. That never goes away. That dye in there, you're breathing that in, it's been proven. So even with washing them, it never goes away. That's why I haven't been sick in 18 years because I'm being cleansed all the time. Even though I have the same clothes that other people have, my nasal passage and everything is being cleansed. My lungs aren't being affected by any of these chemicals. So people aren't realizing it's all these little nuances that they never realize is affecting their quality of life. And even if you did know about it, this is the only solution that there is.
So what you're saying, Ron, is although your clothes are giving off the same exact chemicals, because the cold oxygen plasma is in the atmosphere in your home, it's not getting to your nostrils through your system. So it's making it as long as you're in your environment, it's making that it's neutralizing the effect of the dyes, etc., coming off.
Yeah, same thing when you come home from work. All those toxins that you breathe in that day is still in your nasal pass and your lungs. So when you come home and it's cleansing your nasal pass and your lungs. Now, I haven't had a cold, a sniffle, not even flu in 18 years. Because what happens when you go out, let's say you go out shopping and you pick up a coronavirus, it's in your nasal passage and in your lungs. It takes time to get in your bloodstream. So that's why this kills it in your nasal passage in your lungs before it can get into your bloodstream. Okay. Now, there again, I've had numerous people that were sick that got better very quickly after they got a machine because it cleansed their lungs. It killed the bacteria and the viruses that is affecting them. Remember, this eliminates all bacteria, even drug-resistant bacteria. So,
right. Well, as we're on that topic now, we're running, we're actually about 8:44. Yeah. So about time, do we want to get into the sparkle segment of the show?
do your thing.
Yep, do your thing.
Okay. So one of the things we do here is we do a bit of a sparkle. That's the energy work I do, and it's just to get everyone grounded, give a little, bring your energy level up a little. Perhaps you can put out intentions of your health, wealth, whatever you want, and just connect with source as I do the work. Okay, so it was really good, this discussion. I hope you got a lot out of the system aspect of the presentation. And from Ron, thank you so much for sharing so much on this, how it really helps at the home front. So let's start moving forward now with the sparkle. So if you connect to source and just imagine this beautiful light coming from the heavens, and just imagine that it is now entering your body and going wherever it needs to go, every cell, all through you. Just breathe in all the goodness, all the blessings, all the nourishment from the heavens, and just feel that energy just permeating wherever you're going, wherever it needs to go, displacing whatever is negative there. And breathe out. As you breathe out, allow all the regrets, the sorrows, the guilt, the shame, whatever that is, all the worries, all the concerns, allow that to leave through the window, through the doors, or through the cord at the bottom of your feet to your very own special crystal below you. And that crystal is Mother Earth, grounding, wisdom. It allows all the nourishment of the earth to enter that energy. You allow it to get cleansed and purified with Mother Earth's energy, and then allow that beautiful cleansed energy to come back up to join this cosmic energy from the heavens, bringing all that beautiful feeling of centering, grounding energy to your whole body as you breathe in all the goodness. Know that you're worthy. Know you're beautiful. Know that you have the energy and the spirit within you to get whatever it is you wish and want to get done. That you can put out there, that all your dreams can come true because you are worthy and deserving. And just allow that energy to flow. And again, let everything that's not serving you leave through the window, through the doors, through the cord at the bottom of your feet, because this is available to you 24/7. Just allow yourself to know that you are worthy, you are beautiful and deserving. Okay, how is that? Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Relaxed.
Okay, how are you feeling?
Relaxed.
Good. Then I don't know, Pam here, Pam Heath is, she has a special gift. I don't know if that's okay if I share that, Pam. Yeah, and she can see the energy. So I don't know if you'd like to share what you can see.
One of the things I've noticed is that I can't see energy when they're using a background. So I can't see the majority of the people here. Even Diane has her background blurred. If there's any kind of technology, I can't see energy. It'd have to be like if I turn off my background.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 second. See, now I don't have a background and I can see my energy and it's this yellowish.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Yeah, that what you're looking at is probably my light, but I can see the energy. Energy for me occurs like this energy field around people's heads. And when I meet people, I can see their energy. And I've learned over the years what the colors mean. But I can't see if they have a background. If they're just natural, in their natural, like Pam, right now I'm seeing energy because she doesn't have a background. And the light that I'm seeing around her head is almost pinkish. It's like this pinkish around her head. What I usually find that to mean is there's a lot of love and compassion in her energy. And so if I were to meet Pam on the street, I would be very inspired to greet her warmly because she has this warmth around her. I don't know Pam. This is the first time I'm meeting her, but her energy tells me she's compassionate and warm.
Do me.
How about
So
me?
Diane, I see around her head, there's this energy field and it's yellowish, greenish, which is a new one for me. I don't usually see that color, and now I see it a lot. And what I've learned is that that person is very spiritual and transformational. And I've recently started seeing this color. It's almost like a yellowish green color. I
Okay.
noticed a lot around Michelle, and now I'm seeing it around Diane. So that just tells me this is a very spiritual person. They're connected to their spirituality, and transformation is very much part of their life.
What about Ron? Ron was asking if you could see his.
So Ron, I can't see. Is that a background or is that
No,
your
it's just my TV and stuff behind me. It's not a background.
I don't see any energy there for you. And usually that's because something's in the way electronically.
Oh.
I'm not seeing any energy around.
Well, there's all electronics behind me. That's
It could be
probably
your
why.
blocking you.
For some reason, when there's technology, there's too much. I can't see the aura.
what part of the country you live in, Pam?
I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, cool. I lived there for a while too.
I live here now. I lived here before, and I got sick recently. Michelle can tell you she's been sparkling me. I had pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
And about 18% of people who get third stage pancreatic cancer survive. So I'm part of that 18% now. And I blame Michelle Home Lung.
Well, I just went through fifth stage prostate cancer and made it through that. My kidney disease and I attribute to breathing my healthy air. But you know what? Your mental ability means a lot too for your healing process.
Yeah, your mindset is critical for healing your body. Plus, I've heard through Michelle about the machine, the Code Plaza, and I'm going to get one. There is no doubt in my mind. I've already got my name scratched in one. You just haven't noticed it, that it's mine, but it's definitely mine.
I was actually living in Vegas when I discovered this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a good friend of mine
goodness.
I was helping someone with his 3 furniture stores there. One was in Henderson and one in Charleston. So I was there for about a year helping a friend put together his furniture business. So,
well, I can tell you that I came here because I lived here before and I loved it here, and I'm very happy right now. Very happy. And I'm still going to get one of these machines. I can't wait. I've already made the choice. I just need to reach out and buy it.
So Jade wanted to know if you saw color for her as well.
No, even though he's on a green screen, I can't see anything. So that tells me that electronics is in the way.
Okay, so what about my color right now?
So right now I can't see yours either. And the reason why is because you're just positioned in front of Jade.
Oh.
The way that I'm seeing you, the way that he's got you showing is in front of him, and I can't see anything with him. It's just something I've noticed when there's a lot of electronics, I can't see the aura.
Mm-hmm. But normally, as you said, you see that.
Normally when I'm on a Zoom, if people don't have a whole lot going on, I can see their aura. And when I meet them in person is when it's strongest, when I see people's aura. And it usually tells me, you know, this is the kind of person this is. And then when I interact with them, they're always blown away. It's because I could see it. You know, I can see your aura. It tells me who you are, you know, and then they're like, wow.
That's pretty cool. So questions, any more questions that we haven't answered for anyone tonight?
I think that for me, the biggest question that comes up is when you buy the machine and you've got your air purified, then what about going out in the world? Does it matter how much you go out in the world, or should you stay isolated?
No. That's the beauty of it, because when you come home and breathe that air, whatever you picked up is being neutralized too. I've been using it for years, but I have so many friends that have been using it too. So no, you'll just notice you'll notice differences, like all your shoes have no more odor. To eliminate all and any odors, you have no more odor. You will see no more dust in the air. You know, when you see a light stream shining through your window, you see those dust particles. You will see that you'll have no more of those in the air. Doesn't eliminate the dusting on the ground now, but it eliminates you breathing in the particles and stuff. It takes time. How big is your home? How many square feet is your home there?
Gee, I don't know. It's not big. It's a very small 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay. Well, from the time you plug it in, it's not like an air purifier. It builds up. It seeks and destroys. So from the time you plug it in your home, it usually could take a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks for it to literally penetrate your whole entire atmosphere. If you run your forced air heating and stuff, it'll happen quicker. It actually will sterilize your ventilation systems too. So if you have any kind of mold, like in your ductwork and stuff, when the air starts running, it goes through there, it neutralizes all that too. So it takes time. Some people get some immediate results depending on what their issues are, and some people it just takes a little bit longer. You know, I've had people that get immediate results, and some people it takes time, especially if it's a bad odor, because we don't know how deep seated where that odor is coming from, but it will eventually eliminate it. You know, so.
Perfect.
You'll see. I mean, there again, you know, there's other benefits to it too, because they use it now in medical for wound healing. In fact, one of her friends was a doctor. She has like skin lesions or ulcers, and those are starting to heal up on her too. That's a friend of Michelle's. I also had people that had wounds that healed the wounds very quickly, but this is what they use it for in the medical industry now, for wound healing, because it eliminates all the bacteria and stuff from the air that's affecting the wounds, and it heals faster, much faster. So there's just so
Like
much to it.
if somebody comes to your house and they're sick and you have one of the machines, then it clears the air of whatever they're
Yes,
bringing into your home.
It killed the coronavirus. It kills all viruses in less than a second. You cannot spread germs. That's why during the pandemic situation, literally no one would talk to me because it sounded, what I say, too good to be true. But it kills the virus in 0.44 of a second. It kills, NASA tested, UCLA tested. It killed the coronavirus in 0.30 of a second. It killed it on every surface they tested it on. So it's literally sterilizing everything in your atmosphere. So when people come in and they can have, I don't care how sick, I've been exposed to COVID. And I didn't get a vaccination, nor will I. And I've been exposed to it and I didn't get anything several times. So, but yeah, that's the purpose of it. You can't spread from person to person. If you happen to be away from your machine for several days and you do get sick, which has happened to people many, many times, when they come home and start breathing this air, it's healing them much, much faster, and they get well very quickly too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like my lungs. How do I put this gently? Well, I'm very mucousy. Okay, so when I hack up phlegm, most people have color of their phlegm. Mine's as clear as distilled water, literally. Okay, and I've been a heavy weed smoker for all my life. Never smoked cigarettes, but there should be tar. There's tar. Okay, and there again, mine's as clear as distilled water.
Now, before you had this in your atmosphere, was it clear?
No, but my nose, my allergies used to be so bad. My nose, let me tell you something. You didn't want to know me then. My nose used to run like a faucet, literally. My allergies, I had such severe hay fever. I lived in the San Fernando Valley in California those years. And I suffered like you can't believe. I was taking so much medication. I was drowsy all the time, you know. And from the day I started using it, I woke up the next morning. I think I told you the story when I discovered it. It was also for the mattress sterilization. But I woke up the next morning for the first time I can breathe. Now, Jade knows a gentleman that he introduced me to, Darren Hamlin, that had a gym that had the same issues. That Darren had this pretty little young wife that had a cat. He was allergic to cats, and he was a skeptic. So he said, "Let me try one." He woke up the next morning, could breathe. He ended up putting him in all of his gyms. Now, you know, Jade was the perpetrator of me meeting Darren, and same thing with him. He woke up could breathe for the first time. So I know what it's done for people. I do offer a 30-day money back guarantee, you know, and if I have to go a little bit longer for someone, I will. No one's ever asked for their money back, you know. So, I mean, I used to be allergic to cats. I got 2 cats. They're around here somewhere, but Jade's over here all the time. I live in a big RV and there's no cat box odor. It took Jade, when he did work for me, he got a unit and he got rid of his cat box odor immediately too. You know, so it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, anyway, it's great. We could talk forever about all the good things that lives it's saved and all of that. But we're at the top of the hour, so it's time, I think, to say good night. And if you have any more questions, Ron is always happy to answer it on that. And if you have any questions on the process side, let me know.
Call me direct or email me.
Yeah, the link is on the Ron Levinson page on the Sparkle Experience Show page. So thanks.
I put the link in chat for everybody.
Yeah, so I hope you grabbed your travel checklist, and we'll see you again on September 4th, I believe. It will be a different link because Working Live is switching out, and they're no longer an entity. So I'll be going back to Zoom with my account, so the link will be different.
Yep. Let me know, Michelle. I'll help you with that. So.
Yeah. So anyways, it's all good. Thank you again for joining us. Spread the word if you would. It's a beautiful thing what we're doing here, and we appreciate all of you for coming in. Thank you again, Ron, for joining me. And
thank you for having me.
All your help.
Thank you, Pam and Diane, for listening.
Okay, wonderful. Take care. Bye for now. We'll see you next time.